Hi everybody. So I promised to post on needs, and here it is. So as yoga practitioners, we can do so much better than the following statement. I need you to blank. This statement of I need you to blank, or I need the yoga studio owner to blank, I need this other yoga teacher to blank. That is a very sneaky way of putting off or pushing away the responsibility of our own experience and our own feelings and our own needs. And we want to start reining that back in and taking responsibility for ourselves and our feelings and our needs. Why would we want to do that? Well, so much of yoga is about taking responsibility for ourselves, becoming more truly authentically ourselves, to being masters of generating creativity and masters of moving through conflict. So much of yoga is conflict. It's like move your arm here but keep your leg there. That's a conflict. So we're actually becoming masters of conflict, and rather than making conflict the separating principle, it's actually about making conflict the uniting principle. So much of yoga is how to make conflict uniting rather than separating. So these statements of I need you to causes more separation. Okay, well, what would we do instead of that statement? Well, oftentimes we use these statements when we're feeling agitated or we're in conflict, right? I need the studio to give me a better time slot. I need the studio to put my workshop on their newsletter. Okay, well, this I need you to doesn't take responsibility for the need that's actually deep, authentic living inside of you. Like the I need the studio to give me a different time slot. Well, the studio may or may not do that. We don't know, right? Like you can't necessarily control that. But whether they do or don't doesn't change the fact that you have a need to what? You have a need to be respected as an employee, or you have a need to be making more money, or like what's the need at your need in the core of you? What's the base core need of you in that moment? Because you can't control what the studio is or is not going to do, or what the other teacher is or is not going to do, or what the studio owner is or is not going to do. You can only control yourself, right? So acknowledging the fact that you have a need, a very fundamental, valid need of a need to be seen, or a need to be heard, or a need to be validated, or a need to be seen for your intentions, or your need to be compensated fairly for your work, or your need to have enough room to grow. Those are really valid. And you know what? If you have that need, some of your the yoga teacher colleagues are going to have that need. It's not like you have a need and someone else doesn't. You think you're the only person that wants the 9 a.m. time slot? No freaking way, man. Everybody wants to be compensated for their hard work as a yoga teacher. Everybody wants to be respected by the studio as a yoga teacher. Everybody wants that. It's not like you're the fool that thought that that was okay. So getting into this habit of really deeply understanding I have a need, and like that's okay, and really figuring out what that is for you, it's going to help you take responsibility for yourself, which is such a good thing. Such a good thing. It will free you from so much conflict. And it also really reels back the whole projection thing, which really, like, it just kind of gets us nowhere. It's just sort of unproductive. If you want to know more about projections, you should take one of my courses, and I'll stop with the plug. But anyway, the piece about really identifying what your needs are, it is going to help you take responsibility for yourself, reel in the projections, and instead of just like vomiting all over someone else and getting unnecessarily pissed off at them. So the next time that you have some sort of like rub or conflict with a yoga teacher or a studio or a student or whatever, a colleague, well, like take it back a second, okay? Take it back. Just pause. Well, what's happening in your body? What sensation do you notice in your body? Heat, tingling, cold, numbness, pins and needles? Like what's going on there? And if you were to give that sensation a voice, what would the voice of that sensation say? Maybe the voice of the pins and needles in your belly is saying that you're really angry. Well, what are you really angry about? You're angry that the teacher took your time slot or something. Okay, well, what's the need underneath of that anger? It's like, oh, well, I needed to be appreciated. Maybe I had a need for appreciation. Hallelujah. So many people have that. We all have the need for appreciation. Maybe it's worth it to voice that in some way, like mention to the other teacher, to the studio owner, like, hey, I'd really love to be appreciated for my contribution. Something like that, and you don't have to say that. Sometimes even just saying like, wow, I have a need for appreciation and I would have really liked to have been validated, really, up or shown some of that would have really meant a lot to me. Okay, well, is there a way that you can subtly appreciate yourself? So there's a way that we can meet our own needs in that way. This is a really complex, big topic, and there's so much more we could say. Suffice to keep it simple, and smaller. Let's get out of this habit of the I need you to statement and really bring it back to I have a need. So instead of I need you to do the dishes, reframe I have a need to live in a clean house. I need the studio to put my workshop on the mailer, reframe. I need to know that I'm being appreciated, or you can see that one gets a little complex, or I need to be seen, or I need to be heard, or it sometimes it takes a moment or two to really get in there. Let's choose another example. Let's say, here's a good one. Let's say you're trying to get someone to teach your class for you. You're subbing and you're sick or something, and it's like you need a sub, or I need you to sub my class. Reframe. I have a need to take care of my health. Can you please sub my class? It's kind of like that. Instead of I need you to sub my class, or I need the studio to find me a sub for my class, it's like, actually, I have a need to self-care. It'd be really awesome if you could help me in this way. And even something that simple of just reining back in the I need you to statement to acknowledge the fact that you have a need for self-care in that instance, or the need to be validated, or you name it, you put whatever, insert whatever one you want in there. It helps us take responsibility for ourselves and stand up in ourselves, as ourselves, for ourselves. It's a good thing. So again, as yoga practitioners, let's really get away from the I need you to statement and reel it back into deciphering what our needs are. How are we going to figure out what our needs are? Track your sensations, your body, this thing here, that thing there. That's your biggest tool. Don't ignore it. It's your biggest tool. Those sensations, they're there for a reason, okay? They are your best friend. Track them, stalk them, go into them. What do they have to say? What are they telling you is going on? What needs do you have? Okay? And come to conflict from a place of stating what your needs are for yourself, instead of I need you to blank. All right? Try it out. See how it goes. I have a feeling that you'll be pretty pleasantly surprised. When we make the shift from the I need you to blank statement to the I have a need for blank statement, whoa, big magic happens. Okay, big magic happens. I've taught this time and time again to so many different yoga practitioners, and they always report whoa, why haven't I not been doing this before? This was huge. Okay, so try it out. It takes practice. Sometimes it's we mess up and no big deal. We just try again. So tracking our sensations, finding what our needs are, and instead of the I need you to statement, use an I have a need for statement. And then you can make a request, of course. Okay, so that's the post on needs. I hope it goes well. If you liked this post, click like, share it to someone who it might benefit, and converse with me and each other here. Let us know what you discovered about yourself. What kind of needs do you have? How did the I have a need statement go? All right, like I love to know those kinds of things. So good luck and keep me posted.